The sun blazed fiercely over the quiet cemetery as a row of black-clad bikers stood in solemn silence around a polished oak coffin. Leather jackets that usually carried thunder and rebellion now seemed drenched in grief. But what stopped everyone in their tracks wasn't the coffin, nor the roarless motorcycles lined like steel soldiers. It was the small girl sitting on the grass, her tiny hands pressed against the coffin lid as though holding on for dear life. She had been there for 3 hours. She refused to move. And no one knew who she was. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness and second chances still matter in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to German Stories. The brothers of the Iron Ridge Biker Club exchanged uneasy glances. Their leader, a towering man named Rowan Crete, had recently lost his wife, Maeva Crete, a woman so gentle and selfless that the roughest bikers softened in her presence. She had spent years rescuing stray animals, feeding hungry kids around town, and stitching patches back onto worn jackets without ever accepting a single coin. Her death from sudden heart failure had shocked them all, yet this little girl did not belong to any of them. She was around 8 years old, with messy auburn hair, dirt-smudged cheeks, and eyes that shimmered with fear and devotion. Her name, as they later learned, was Rina Vale. She sat unmoving on the sun-warmed earth, whispering soundless words toward the coffin, as though begging Maeva to wake up. Rowan felt his chest tighten painfully. He wanted to comfort her, but grief had hollowed him out. At first, they assumed she was just a lost child mistakenly drawn to the funeral. But every attempt to lift her or coax her away caused her to cling harder, trembling violently, tears soaking the coffin lid. Hours passed, yet she still refused to stand or even drink water. Finally, Rowan crouched beside her. She didn't look at him. She kept her forehead resting gently against the wood. The biker stood in respectful silence, sensing something deeper, something hidden beneath her stubbornness. The wind rustled through the tall cemetery trees, and somewhere in the distance, a dog barked as though sensing the sorrow folded into the air. As the coffin was prepared to be lowered, Rina suddenly wrapped both arms around it, her small body shaking uncontrollably. And that was the moment a folded piece of paper fell from her pocket. When she shifted, Rowan picked it up, intending to return it, but what he read made his breath catch. It was a letter written in childish handwriting, addressed simply, for Miss Maeva. Rina had written about her mother dying 2 years ago, about sleeping in an abandoned shed on the edge of town, and about Maeva visiting her nearly every evening on her way home from the animal shelter. Maeva had brought sandwiches, blankets, fresh socks, even a stuffed rabbit patched at the ears. Rina wrote that Maeva promised she would find her a safe home soon. Then one day, Maeva didn't come. The girl, lost and scared, had walked for hours until she reached the cemetery, because someone at the shelter told her Maeva had gone to rest. And Rina thought that meant she was sleeping here. The truth smashed into Rowan with more force than any crash he had survived on the open road. Maeva had been helping this child in secret. She had been planning to adopt her. His heart felt like it was splitting open all over again. With trembling hands, Rowan lifted Rina into his arms as gently as lifting a wounded bird. She did not fight. Her small fingers clutched the biker patch on his chest, and for the first time since Maeva's death, Rowan felt warmth pulse inside him, fragile and real. As the bikers lowered the coffin into the earth, Rina buried her face in Rowan's jacket. And the men around them, hardened by roads and scars and storms, bowed their heads, many wiping tears silently behind dark sunglasses. What happened next marked the beginning of a new chapter none of them had expected. Rowan spoke softly, his voice heavy yet assured. Rina would not return to that shed. She would come home with him. Maeva's love would not end with her heartbeat. It would continue through them, through him, and through this child she had protected so fiercely. The bikers embraced Rina as one of their own. They placed small flowers on the fresh earth, revved their engines once in a united salute, and escorted Rowan and Rina back home in a slow, powerful procession through the daylight streets. Days passed, then weeks. Rina's smile slowly returned. She painted Maeva's name on a stone in the garden. Rowan repaired her shoes himself, using techniques Maeva once taught him. The biker family took turns visiting, bringing her toys, teaching her how to ride a minibike, even dedicating a yearly charity ride in Maeva's honor. The girl who had clung to a coffin now clung to hope, and Rowan, once consumed by grief, found a reason to breathe again. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to German Stories. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more people. A special request: comment for Maeva's love if you believe kindness can save a life.